Tonight, 2 people were injured in a crash in Carbondale today. We have the latest next. And 2 Florida men are accused of stealing from a Southern Illinois church after a third suspect has charges pending. More on that story next. And when students in Mrs. Kahn's English and Language Arts class at Carbondale Middle School aren't reading and writing, they're engaging in what they call Passion Days. More on that story and much more. News, sports, and weather coming up next on this Thursday night edition of News 24 at 10. And good evening. Thanks for joining us. We have a lot of news to get to, but we begin in Carbondale, where 2 people were injured in a crash today. It happened around 2:50 p.m. on East Walnut Street at Cedar View Street. Troopers say 50-year-old Jane Ann Winther of Anita, Iowa, was traveling west on with a 2018 Ford Focus on Walnut in the center of 3 lanes near Cedar View Street, and 38-year-old Bertha C. Hum of DeSoto was driving a 1994 Ford Mustang, also westbound in the same location and in the left of the 3 lanes. They say Winther started to make a lane change into the left lane after checking and not seeing the Mustang in her blind spot. The 2 vehicles sideswept and the Mustang went off the left side of the road, hitting a utility pole on the northeast corner of East Walnut and Cedar View. According to Illinois State Police, Winther was uninjured. Hum and her 20-year-old passenger were injured and taken to an area hospital by ambulance. Troopers said the utility pole broke but stayed standing because it was supported by wires. The Carbondale Police Department assisted with traffic control and tows while the Illinois State Police investigated. 2 Florida men are accused of stealing from a Southern Illinois church, and a third suspect has charges pending. Heron police were notified Monday of a burglary at Our Lady of Mount Carmel Catholic Church. The burglary happened early on October 13th. Cody Patterson, 26, of Apopka, Florida, and Kyle Williams, 27, of Claremont, Florida, were arrested for criminal trespass and burglary. The items that were taken have been recovered and returned to the church. To the weather, where some rain might return to close out the work week, here's News 24's Terry Rodriguez in with the latest. All right, thanks, Terry. When students in Mrs. Kahn's English and Language Arts class at Carbondale Middle School aren't reading and writing, they're engaging in what they call Passion Days. This week, they're learning to code and build their own website from scratch, all thanks to the outstanding knowledge of their classmate. Morshed's older brother is in college and frequently tells Morshed about what he's doing in school that influenced him to try coding. Some students think of these side projects as a day off from the traditional school day to take up other interests. The website they're building will showcase projects and other accomplishments they want the community to see. Everyone contributes, from taking pictures to creating a Twitter account and even overseeing the website's graphic design. Mrs. Collins' students' efforts could extend to other students outside of the academically talented classes to teach more complicated subjects like coding. She said the librarian is writing grants to expand teaching coding. Collins says the initiative increases a student's learning by 20%. For the month of October, News 24 is doing Oktoberfest segments showcasing tips and tricks to help you through the season. In this most recent segment, we're teaching you when to stop mowing.
There are many chores that come with fall: raking, burning leaves, buying candy, and more. But another fall task is mowing.
We all do it, or we pay someone else to do it. Mowing. It's the most convenient way or the only way to cut your lawn. And whether you use a John Deere, Cubcat it, or just a simple push mower, we all at some point have to determine when to quit.
So whether your lawn is 5 acres or 5 feet, here are a few tips about when to stop mowing.
Step 1. Soil temperature. According to HGTV, warm season grasses go dormant when soil temps remain consistently below 55 degrees, which in southern Illinois is typically sometime between November 20th and December 1st. This is typically the time that grass slows growth. Step 2. Examining the leaves. Typically when trees are 50% bare, it is time to stop mowing. However, this can be deceiving because wind and cool temperatures can greatly vary between weeks. Step 3. Follow the frost. Following 3 frosts, grass usually stops growing. Remember to never mow a lawn when a hard frost occurs, as it can tear up your turf crowns.
For the 2018 mowing season, News 24 recommends to stop mowing around Thanksgiving because current forecast trends suggest that the high will not exceed 55 degrees by that time. But if you prefer stopping sooner or mowing longer, remember these tips, because that choice is completely up to you.
Much more local news, sports, and weather is coming up next, but first, here's your Fox News update.
In Fox News, possible punishment. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. The president suggesting Saudi Arabia will be dealt with if it's found responsible for the disappearance of journalist Jamal Khashoggi.
President Trump says it certainly looks as if journalist Jamal Khashoggi is dead, and if Saudi Arabian leaders are found to be responsible, the president says there will be consequences.
It'll have to be very severe. I mean, it's bad stuff, but we'll see what happens.
The president met earlier today with Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, who advised giving Saudi leaders a few more days to finish an investigation before reaching conclusions about Khashoggi's disappearance. The Saudi journalist and Washington Post writer has not been seen since entering the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, Turkey, earlier this month.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. UN experts saying the world is facing a new and very worrisome practice of governments abducting people in foreign countries. Bernard Dupayne, chair of the UN Working Group on Enforced Disappearances, telling the UN General Assembly there needs to be an independent international investigation into Khashoggi's disappearance. This morning, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin announced he would not attend an investment conference in Saudi Arabia over the Khashoggi disappearance. Goldman Sachs announced it will not send executives, and the Fox Business Network has also pulled out. President Trump holding a Make America Great Again rally in Missoula, Montana tonight in support of the Republican candidate for Senate.
And in just 19 days, the people of this incredible state are going to send Matt Rosendale to the U.S. Senate to protect your job and protect your Second Amendment, which is under siege.
Tomorrow, the president will spend the day in Arizona for several events, including a roundtable discussion with supporters. This is Fox News.
Stop.
My opponent and his friends are running negative ads he knows are not true, falsely attacking my record as a prosecutor, and knowing I won't support Nancy Pelosi. They can focus on lies. My focus is on you. I'm fighting Big Pharma. He took their money. I'll strengthen Social Security and Medicare. He'll cut them. I'll support term limits. He won't. He protects dark money donors and the rigged system that serves the powerful few. I'll serve you. I'm Brendan Kelly, and I approve this message. When Domino's is out for delivery, use Domino's new dinner bell to get the family home. Ring the dinner bell and they'll come running for their mix and match favorites. Choose any two or more like bread twists, specialty chicken, pizza, or salads for only $5.99 each.
You sent me to Springfield to fix our state. We've done some good. We've stopped a lot of bad. But like you, I'm frustrated because we haven't done enough. After decades of corruption, change doesn't come easy. We could give up and give total control to Madigan, Pritzker, and the machine that made this mess, or do the tough, honest things to save Illinois. This might be our last chance.
I'm Jennifer.
I'm Dave.
We have 3 days.
To explore the state of Illinois. Hey,
Right
Blood
here.
Brothers, here's
Here we
this.
go. She's like a million miles away. This is the life. I mean, I can't believe we're in Illinois.
Pretty nice, huh?
My friend dropped me off in front of my house, and there was a tall man on my porch, and he pushed me inside and brutally raped me.
When I saw what victims of sexual assault were going through, how the system was failing them, I felt like I had to step up and do something about that.
Brendan Kelly's made a huge difference with sexual assault survivors. We need Brendan Kelly in our Congress as well. He's never afraid to push on and never afraid to take a challenge on, and he makes things happen.
I'm Brendan Kelly, and I approve this message.
They were victims of heinous crimes, women violently assaulted, and State's Attorney Brendan Kelly failed them and gave plea deals to their offenders. Kelly failed to do his job and victims suffered. Southern Illinois can't trust Brendan Kelly.
Bruce Rauner is one of the least popular governors in the country. A survey shows that Rauner with the 5th lowest approval rating, 55.
At Metro PCS, everyone's celebrating an amazing deal. Switch now and get your choice of 3 free phones from great brands. Plus, get a 3rd line with unlimited high-speed data free. Metro PCS, wireless figured out.
Can you get me my drink? All right, thanks, Terry. To Williamson County, where ideas for a multi-casino resort at Walker's Bluff have been in the plans for years, but have been held up until a new gambling bill is passed that would allow it. Now, local leaders from around the region are starting to fight to get the bill passed. On Tuesday, a House Gambling Subcommittee held a hearing to listen to advocates for the bill. CEO of Macatron, Kathy Lively, was among those who pushed for the passing of the bill, saying it could be a job and economy booster in Southern Illinois. State Representative Dave Severin was also at the meeting and supports the casino resort project. He said that there was a lot of back and forth, and opponents of the casino resort fought it, saying that gambling often causes personal problems and a casino might not be the answer to Southern Illinois' money problems. Now, he's requested to be on the subcommittee that would push it to lawmakers in Springfield. Although he said it's going to be a long time before this bill gets passed and construction begins, but overall will be worthwhile to the region. The next subcommittee hearing on the bill will be in November. Much more local news, sports, and weather is next, plus your News 24 Thursday night sports coming up.
You sent me to Springfield to fix our state. We've done some good. We've stopped a lot of bad. But like you, I'm frustrated because we haven't done enough. After decades of corruption, change doesn't come easy. We could give up and give total control to Madigan, Pritzker, and the machine that made this mess, or do the tough, honest things to save Illinois. This might be our last chance.